Gears of War has had so many peaks and valleys within, the time that it, as it's like released and such. And I want to talk about, guys, the future of Gears here a little bit, which we've talked about a lot on the YouTube channel. You guys can see a lot of the YouTube videos that I've made about Gears of War. And one thing I want to talk about, and more so than anything, I want to get a conversation going with all of you guys as to how you all think the Coalition should improve the franchise or improve moving into Gears of War 6 or Gears 6. So let's talk about it. So guys, we know what the Coalition has kind of done right and what they've done wrong and what they can maybe do better moving forward is kind of a big question mark, but I think they're moving in the right direction. Let me just tell you guys something. I think that the amount of hate that the Coalition is getting, I've said this on a number of occasions, is absolutely unjust in my personal opinion. But in Gears 6, I would love to see the Coalition, what they could maybe even do better than what happened with Gears 5, is they could make it a full-blown open world campaign. Not semi-open world, open world. Like just completely open world. I think that would be a huge step in the right direction for Gears of War. Number 2, I would say that kind of maybe moving back to JD Phoenix or Marcus Phoenix instead of playing Kate Diaz as the main character. I think I would like that a lot. Only because, guys, not that I don't like Kate Diaz. I think she is an absolute badass character. I just think that I would like to play as Marcus one more time. In more of a more current Gears of War title. And I think JD is a really good character as well. I don't like really the character development that they had with him in Gears 5. I thought that he just kind of came off as a total douchebag, and I did not like where they took JD's character. So I'd like to see him kind of get a redemption story in Gears 6, and I would like to be able to play as Marcus. And not that we can't come back to Kate Diaz, but I just don't know if it's her time quite yet, in my opinion. But that being said, I think Gears 6 could obviously, between open world and getting, of course, Marcus, as far as him being the main playable character, I think that would be great. And then, of course, making it a redemption story for JD. The other thing with the Gears 5 story that I liked but didn't like, I was kind of on the fence with, were some of the decisions that you made in the game. Like in previous Gears of War games, we've always had decisions. Like, do you want to go down the left path? Do you want to go down the right path? But within Gears 5, it was more, who do you want to kill or who do you want to save? And I like that concept, but man, it really ups the stakes so much. And you kind of wonder, do you really want to be having those types of options? I think it's probably a good thing. I'd like to see them maybe explore it some more. But I'm still kind of on the fence with having those types of significant options. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. But the campaign is, with the big thing with the campaign, I think having, obviously, an open world is very important so that you can just continue to come back to the franchise or come back to just the story mode and just, explore. Have a lot of different side missions and things of that nature to really keep you continuing to come back to the game. I think the next thing, guys, in my opinion, is within the campaign, having the stakes be a little bit higher as far as not so much, like the world's going to end if you don't stop this, but having a lot of like different villains, similar to like General Rom. I think that kind of ups the stakes of certain areas, right? And it makes it feel more, it feels so much more immersive. And like having those boss battles, which you had some boss battles, obviously, in Gears 5, and you have them in each of the Gears War games. But I kind of want to go back to the roots, kind of like, not necessarily having huge bosses is what is going to kind of get you extremely excited. Let's put it that way. I think what I actually enjoyed more was having, bosses that were kind of maybe a little bit bigger than your character, but still like very tough and difficult to beat. And that would be like General Rom. I'd like to see more of that moving into the next game, into Gear 6. Instead of having so many of the big, huge boss fights that you would have. I like that, and I like having, maybe one of those each game, but I more so want to have, kind of those close quarters, but very much so feels way more realistic or more, intimate almost between yourself and that enemy that you're trying to take down, or the boss that you're trying to take down. So that'd be the next thing. Moving on to the multiplayer. I think multiplayer is moving in a great direction. Obviously, consistently updating the multiplayer I think would be great. I think free-to-play multiplayer would be huge for Gears of War. I think making Gears of War free-to-play would be a huge step for Microsoft as well as the Coalition in really taking that next step to becoming a juggernaut of a franchise. I really do. I think free to play is the future of gaming for a lot of games at least, and I think that for Gears of War that would be a great move for the Coalition. But the multiplayer overall, I like the direction they're going in. I obviously didn't like, all of the different, having cosmetics and stuff are really great, but I want more like earnable items. I thought that obviously the rank up system was really not good as far as like what the re-up rewards were, as well as what the icons or the emblems. I thought those were like the worst in probably the entirety of Gears of War. I think it's really important that there's more emphasis on that instead of emphasis on what you're selling in the shop. I think that that's something that needs to be improved upon, and I think that Gears of War, in my opinion, has some of the sickest looking camos and, like moving camos and just unlockables in most games I've ever played. They're just like really cool unlockable items, but I don't necessarily want to always have to pay for those things. For the esports side of things, totally get it. I love that. But I want to be able to just like earn those items as you go. And I know a lot of things are earnable. Some of them you can also just pay for with real money, which I understand that developers do need to make money. But, just something else that kind of I would rather have more earnable items than just like pay to get kind of tactics or mechanics and such. The next thing is for the esports scene, I think that they need to move in a direction of execution over escalation. I love escalation, but execution is just simple. It's simplified. You get one life and it's like search and destroy, essentially. And I think that that's how a lot of games should be. I've always said Call of Duty should go in that direction with search and destroy. CSGO, obviously one of the most popular, if not the most popular, first-person shooter out there. It's a search and destroy type of, kind of game mode where you get one life and that's it each round. And I think execution should be the direction that they go in for the esports scene in Gears of War and with Gears 6. As far as Horde mode goes, I think that they should continue just, kind of keeping it the way it is. I mean, maybe update a few things, but I love Horde mode as a whole. I think that they're consistently kind of adding things to it, but it's just a great game mode. I love it, and I think that they're doing a really good job with Horde. Let's put it that way. As far as, some of my complaints from Gears 4 was there was too many like robots and stuff that you were fighting against in the campaign, as well as like kind of like in the Horde mode. In Gears 5, it feels like they kind of brought it back to like the Locust Horde, which I think is really good. So continue onwards with the Locust Horde, not so much the robots. If you have the robots, that's fine, but I think having the Locust Horde as your main villains is the best thing. And then as far as escape mode was a really cool mode, but I would love to see Beast mode come back, which is where you would play as the Locust Horde, kind of in a Horde-based mode, but you would play as one of the different characters, as far as one of like the Cantus or the Tickers or, some of those other Locust characters, and you would go after the humans. And I love that concept. It kind of just keeps you coming back, guys. That's the whole point of having a full package deal when you're playing a game like Gears of War. Here's the thing though, guys, there's so much complaining, so much negativity around this game all in all. We don't even know if Gears 6 is going to be something that comes out, even though it's been confirmed by Rod Ferguson before he left to go to Blizzard. Gears 6 and Gears 7 were both confirmed by him, as well as a Gears of War movie. But the thing is, there's so much negativity around this franchise, around really Gears 5 as a whole right now, that I just don't know. We've got to be, we have got, as a community, to come together and, obviously tone it down somewhat. I mean, as far as like just the negativity around Gears of War is just, it's unprecedented in my opinion, and it's so unjust. I understand getting upset about certain things within the game, but just the amount of backlash that the Coalition has gotten, I just don't know, guys. I'm hoping that doesn't affect future games in the franchise. I know the Gears 5 sold very well, but there's no guarantees when it comes to this kind of stuff. And with games like Outriders, which is going to be coming out here in the near future this year, that's another game that could start taking, players away, because that was a game and that's a developer that made Gears of War Judgment. And so, look, I mean, there is a significant amount of people that are on edge, and content creators and streamers who are trying to continue building the Gears of War scene, but there's so much negativity that it's hurting the whole scene as a whole. And at some point or another, there's going to be a breaking point. People are just going to scatter to other games. And it's unfortunate because Gears of War as a whole is a full package deal. When you spend $60 on that game, you're getting a campaign, really well, fleshed out campaign like Gears 5, which is semi-open world. You're getting a multiplayer, which is very good. I think it's one of the best in the entire franchise. Then on top of that, you're getting, of course, escape mode. You're getting horde mode, which are great modes. And the developers are updating things. Sure, there's going to be issues here and there, but the fact of the matter is that they are working on stuff. Just stop so much negativity. We've got to be more positive. We want to see the continuation of this franchise. I'm just telling everyone that because there's going to be a breaking point if it continues. So let's just work together, guys. Support your favorite streamers. Support your favorite content creators. If you are a streamer or content creator and you love Gears of War, stream it. Make content around it. There is a following around this game. So just keep doing it. I'm trying to do my part. You all do your part in trying to build this franchise up. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section below as to what the Coalition can do better moving forward with Gears 6. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to have a conversation about it. And for more Gears 6 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.